My name is Jeff Harrison, and my business partner's in the back is running the cameras. Her name is Amy Anderson. We own a company called Swing Point Media. I mean, I think everyone knows, except we have three new guests this morning. And as we shoot this program, or as we do this program, we also videotape it for future. So if you're saying, geez, I don't remember exactly what happened, we have that on our website at Swing Point Media on YouTube. And then we stream it live, so for some reason someone can't make it, and you say, well, I still want to watch the program, but I can't be there. We actually stream it live as well, and you can go to swingpointmedia.tv and you can watch it there as well. So if for some reason you're saying, hey, I don't want to get out of bed this morning, or I can't get out of bed, you can flip us on the laptop and you can have it there. We also have interactivity there. Amy's in the back for Q&A. So my co-host is Andrew McCauley, owns a company called
Autopilot Your Business. So, if you're just using a website to be online, it's so much more than that. These days you need to have your own pretty much media empire, and Autopilot Your Business, we do a lot of that by helping you create podcasts and magazines and everything that goes online to build that media empire. So if you are interested in that sort of stuff, come and speak to me.
Yeah, just a quick little brief thing about our company. It's called swingpointmedia.tv, or Swing Point Media Inc. is actually formally what we're called. And we create video, but the difference about what we do with video is we notice that let's say the majority of our competitors out there, or the majority of the people that create video, they would just say, hey, I'm creating a video for you, Michael. Now I'm going to give it to you. Now it's up to you. What are you going to do with it? Well, now you just have to spend the time and money and energy and find somebody to market that for you. So we took it to the next level. We said, hey, not only do we create it from the ground up so that it's marketable, but we actually market it for you. We have a site called My City Business Review, and we have about 30,000+ people coming there every month. They're all local business owners. So if you went there, it's actually a review site. It's a video review site. It's the largest on the planet. So if you're looking for something and you're saying, hey, I want the best Mexican food in Palm Desert, you go on there and you say, okay, you type in Google, and probably Mamacitas will pop up down here, and you can watch a little video about Mamacitas. Or if you're saying for women's boutiques, whatever it is, it's on My City Business Review. We're growing. We have about 250, maybe 260 local businesses on that right now, and that's what we do.
What's the website again?
It's called mycitybusinessreview.com. Okay. This morning I want to share something before we get started on our topic, why should we use paid advertising? But I want to show you a little something, and it's not our video. This gentleman is really creative, and I liked it. The part I want you to notice are the pieces about the statistics that they talk about using video. How many of you right now use video as one of your resources or your pieces to put out your information? 3 people, good. How often do you put out news? Tell me your name. Leonardo. How often do you put out new stuff? New video?
Probably once a week, once or twice a week.
Okay, and how long are your videos?
Generally from 2 minutes to 8 to 10 minutes.
Okay, and tell me a little bit about what are they? Are they talking more about your company? Are they solving a problem? What are they doing?
Both, mostly trying to solve a problem, and a little bit about the company, and generally trends in the industry, trends for my clients.
Great, that's good. Michael, how about yourself?
How
often?
Getting into doing the how often.
Okay.
So I've got one major video up there, and I'm now getting more.
Okay.
Yeah, I just have my explainer animation. That's all I have.
Okay, very good. So we're just going to run this, and apologize, but the sound is going to be coming off of Andrew's laptop. So listen closely. Everything you see up there is there. Actually, it's just some music on there, and you'll see the information. So, Andrew. you see some of the names on there, they use big brand names, like Comcast and whatnot. And I think right now, we're at a time where there's a convergence of tremendously bright minds out there that have said, geez, if I could just have my voice heard, if I could just get my message out. Well, now the cost, and not only financial but mentally, to enter that and become as well known and as vocal as a Comcast, as a Time Warner, as a big brand, it's never been easier. And I think it's only going to get easier. But the key is, how do you set yourself apart so you're not lost in the noise? And that's our whole focus of when we have these type of programs. Saying, hey, in your business, how do you set yourself apart using the tools we talk about so that when people get out there, you're just not one of the crowd. And so a lot of times when we're talking about things, we'll talk about and I know Andrew does the same thing, we reverse engineer it. Sometimes people say, well, let's make a video. I'll give you a perfect example. We have a company we worked with, it's called Powerbook Golf. Anybody heard of that? Older company, they've been around for a long time, used to make baseball bats, and they still do. But anyway, they had a video made. They wanted us to use our marketing skill because we get people on the first page of Google. Everybody we work with, we get on the first page of Google. And so they brought a video to us, and they said, can you get on the first page of Google? And I said, yeah, but what does the video do? I mean, what is it? Well, it's just, they spent the time and money, effort. It's a great little video, but there's no message in it. Am I right, Amy?
Yes.
No message in it, even from the back room she knows. And so it kind of goes like this. It's the old adage of, we can get the horse to water, but we can't make them
Drink.
Can't do it. So their views were terrible, and they came back to me and said, hey, nobody's watching our video. I said, no surprise, no surprise. Or we can take the video, tell me your business?
Coaching, health coaching.
Coaching, good. What kind of coaching?
Health and wellness. Health and wellness.
Health and wellness. Anything specific there? Let's niche it down until it hurts. What do you do when you talk about health and wellness? Older people, young people?
Older people.
Okay.
Fitness.
Age demographics?
Generally over 50.
Okay. All right. Specifically how in health and wellness?
Lifestyle changes.
Lifestyle changes, good. So what are your ideal clients? What's their biggest problem they face typically?
Individuals trying to make lifestyle changes who need some extra help.
Okay.
They can't quite do it by themselves.
Okay.
They need a coach, a friend.
Okay,
help
so
them.
right there, I think that's that 30,000 foot view. Would you agree? Let's get granular. Like, tell me a specific thing that they are challenged with, that you help them. Still too high. Motivation, what do you mean?
What are their goals?
Get
Setting
deeper.
goals.
Okay, setting goals.
What's
Like
the
what kind of
motivation
goals?
behind the goals?
Okay.
To get healthy, to live longer, to live happier.
See, now we're starting to get down to some specific reasons. What about that person who's led a sedentary life? They've lived behind a desk for 35 years of their career, and now they realize, hey, you know what? I want to play golf. I want to play tennis. I want to do this travel.
Right.
Physically, I'm not there.
Right.
Could that be a problem that says, hey, you know what, Michael, maybe he's in a situation, that's a problem that he wakes up in the middle of the night with, right?
Right.
That's the type of video, that's the type of message, whether you use an Android or not, that you should share, because that's a person looking for. Have you spent and now you want to enjoy life, but your body physically is not there. You're motivated, but how do you get there? So we would reverse engineer that and say, those are the kind of messages you put out, because those are people that are up at 2 o'clock in the morning watching those infomercials, or they're surfing, and say, how can I get my body back in shape so I can travel, right?
Right.
That's where you'd pop up. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So whatever we talk about, reverse engineer it. Hey, what problem are you solving? And not the 30,000 foot level. That's where all the noise is. You want to get down in the crowd. You want to get down at the granular level and say, you know what? I'm having trouble deciding on what I should have for breakfast that will energize me throughout the whole day. The 3 best breakfast cereals that you can have in the morning to charge you for the rest of the day. Now, so you're down at the granular level. Does that
Right.
make sense?
Exactly.
And as a coach, you know that.
Mhm.
Okay? So, today we're going to talk about.
This.
Okay. All right, I'm out of here.
Paid advertising. All right. So, how many people are using paid advertising right now? Just 1, 2, 3. Great. Just give me a rough idea. What are you using? What paid
Google
advertising?
AdWords.
Google AdWords. And how are the results for you?
Well, so far, 0.
Zero.
I've only been doing it for a week,
Okay.
and I've actually put it on pause while I change, so,
Mhm.
you know, at the moment
You're
it's
still playing with
very,
it,
yeah,
experimenting.
very nascent stage.
Great. Leonardo, how about you?
Facebook ads.
Facebook ads, great. How have they been working for you?
Just started using it. It's marginal.
What industry are you in?
I'm a baby boomer dating consultant.
Okay, great.
Is AdWorks.
AdWords?
AdWorks. WRKS.
Oh, AdWorks, okay.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
And I've had lots of clicks,
Mhm.
but they haven't gone through my website. And I think it's because to get into my website for real estate, they have to register. So I just changed that yesterday to, I
Great.
have another IDX and I have it
Uh-huh.
going so they can just go right in and look.
Good,
I have
good.
enormous clicks.
Interesting. Yeah. It's a common problem that a lot of people they're creating these ads, doing all the hard work, getting people to the water, but forgetting to tell them here's the straw, or here's how you drink.
Well, they
So-
just then, I think what happens is you get there and you don't necessarily want to put your information to come into the website.
Right.
And my website is demanding that.
Mhm.
So I now have two websites, one does, one doesn't.
Great. Awesome. You're about to get into paid AdWords. Yep. Have you used paid advertising before?
No.
No. Not Robert, have you?
I did a little bit of Facebook ads.
Uh-huh. And no good?
I got a bunch of likes, but
That was about it.
yeah.
Didn't bring cash to the table, right? Great. And have you used advertising at all, paid advertising at all?
No, I have not.
No?
I'm restarting.
Great. So today I want to run through a couple of things. I'll give you some examples of what it is. If you've been playing with some of this stuff before, you may have seen this, but I just want to point out a few differences and why it's important that you start thinking about using paid advertising in your strategies, because paid advertising can be really valuable. And the great thing about it is that it can be so controlled as far as your budget goes. It's not like it's not like one of those ads where you're not sure how much it's going to cost you. You can really say, I've got this much of a budget to spend, and you can stick to that budget. So, and you can really start as low as $5 a day. So, back in the old days when you wanted to run a TV or a newspaper campaign, you're going to be at least $100 out for a couple of ads. So, paid advertising can be really valuable. So, let's have a look at a few things here. How does it work? Well, paid advertising, also known as pay-per-click advertising. Who's heard of that before? Pay-per-click. PPC marketing. Anyone heard of that before? PPC. What do you think PPC stands for? Pay-per-click. Cost per click marketing and sponsored advertising as well. So Google like to call it sponsored advertising. Facebook are going down that path as well, calling them sponsored ads. They're trying to make them all sound so it doesn't sound so crazy. They're trying to make it sound nice and sweet. So sponsored is a nice word that they use. So let's have a look at Google AdWords. Now I'm going to basically talk about Google AdWords predominantly today, but the concept can be pretty much spread across whether it's Facebook ads, Twitter ads, any other sort of ads that are out there. So here's a basic Google page. Okay, everyone's seen a Google page. Now at the top here, I've put in a search query and it says the best 12 megapixel digital cameras under $100,000. That's a pretty specific search term for this case. So there are a couple of spaces that paid advertising appears on Google. The first one is up the very top. So you can see up here where it says an ad, it gives you a little indication that this is the ad. So when people say I'm on page 1 of Google, they're normally referring to this part here, which is the organic search results, okay? Now, when Amy and Jeff talk about getting you on page 1 of Google, they are talking about getting you on the organic search results. You can't pay to get into these. This is for strictly organic, meaning that it's natural. Google think that your page is the best result that it can deliver in this section here. But if you look over here on the right hand side, there are also other ads on the right hand side which are related to my specific search query. Now, the cool thing is that, I don't know if you can read this, but let me read it out to you. I clicked on there's a little information button just up the top next to that sponsored story up the top. And Google are telling me, based on your search query, we think you are trying to find a product. That's fairly obvious when I'm looking at that, right? Clicking on this box will show you results from providers who can fulfill your request. So Google are getting very smart at what people are looking for. They know that this is a product. We've seen this query before. So we're going to deliver pictures of the product for you. Google may be compensated by some of these providers, i.e. we're going to get paid to show you these ads, right? That's how Google makes their money. So there are ads on the right hand side, there's ads at the top, and this is known as the which section?
Organic.
Organic section. Thank you. Any questions about that general page for Google? Yes?
So my question is as far as research,
Mhm.
do you know of any research that shows I tend to discriminate against the paid ads?
Right.
When I'm looking, I want the organic.
Good, and most people do. In fact, people are more likely to click on the organic results. I'm glad you asked. Have you been reading my slide deck? People are more likely to click on the organic results than the sponsored results. So we're more likely, who else is more likely to click on the organic results than the paid ads? Right, perfect. However, for highly transactional purchases like electronics and shoes and items, cameras and stuff like that, people seem to find more use out of the sponsored results as they are usually more targeted to specific search queries. Now, what I like to call this is called search marketing. So when you're searching for something on Google, you're looking for something specific. In this case, I was looking for a 12 megapixel camera, and it's specifically what I'm looking for. Now, could I be a potential buyer of that camera if I'm searching for that camera?
Yeah.
Right, so that's why they're delivering images and pictures on the right hand side. In Facebook, when you do Facebook advertising, I like to call that disruption marketing or interruption marketing, because I'm on Facebook, I'm looking at my friends and I haven't got enough cat photos for the day, so I want to keep looking at cat photos. And then suddenly there's an ad for a camera appearing in my news feed. I'm like, whoa, what's this? I'm not interested in this. So it's disrupting my experience of Facebook. So I like to call Facebook marketing disruption marketing, whereas Google is more about search marketing. You're looking for something specific. That's why these ads tend to work more well when people are looking for something specific. So have you ever clicked on one of those ads?
Paid or?
Yeah, the paid ads. Not that you can remember. You haven't looked for anything specific like that? Okay. Has anybody else ever clicked on those ads? And not your competitors' ads, I want to make sure. So you clicked on those ads. Why did you click on the ad? Was it something that was relevant to what you were looking for?
Yes, I went right to the company.
Yeah, perfect. Leonardo?
My initial search in the organic section didn't see what I was looking for, so
So someone did paid ads.
secondary
instead.
choice.
Great. Awesome. And have you done that? Have you clicked on one of the paid ads before?
I have.
Yeah, great. So does that answer that question about you? And it's a totally preference. And this doesn't mean that you're using it wrong or anything like that. It just means that whatever you've been looking for, nobody's given you excitement to click on that ad at the time. Okay? Now here's a tip for you. And this could be related to what you were talking about. Do not send traffic to your home page, as it usually not the most specific or targeted page for your website or for your specific products. So a lot of people make the same mistake. They run an ad, they think they've got the right image, they've got the right text, the right call to action, the right copy, and they send people to their homepage, which is just a bunch of information that people are like, well, I'm not sure what to do.
What if it's an opt-in page? Or
Right, so this is exactly what you want to do. So you want to start thinking about what am I doing my ads for? What do I want to get out of my ads? Do I want people to sign up for my free newsletter? Do I want them to purchase something? Am I wanting them to take a specific action? Because if you send them to a home page, usually on a home page, what sort of information is on a home page?
General.
General. Are there other tabs and clickable links on there? Right, so the more tabs and more available options on there are, the more people are less likely to get sidetracked. Anyone ever got sidetracked before? Oh, what's this button do? What is this? I want to go and check this out. So you open up a new tab and suddenly you forget why you were there and you get reading something and you're like, look at the time, I'm going to go. So you've just paid, you just charged that person, or you've been paying for that person to get to your website, and you've sidetracked them completely. In your case, you're doing, when they get to your site, your old site, is there anything else they can do except sign up for a member?
No, they just look at it.
They just look at can they look at the rest of the page? They can just sign up, is that all?
It's just a great picture. It's a great front page of the website.
And a picture when they've got to sign up for it.
Mhm.
How many fields are you asking for them to sign up for?
Just one.
Just what? Just their
Well, when
email
you say
address?
field, like
For like,
ones
what are you asking for them? Name, email address,
Mhm.
first name, last name?
Just that. They just
Okay.
sign in and then they can go in.
Is there a clear call to action about why they're signing up for it?
If they want to search for property, it says begin your search here.
Uh-huh.
They click, then they go into the next website.
Right.
The first one's just a frame, it's just a
Uh-huh.
beautiful website.
Yep.
And the next one has the ideas.
Right.
So-
So what you'll find is people, even clicking one button can be a lot of exercise for people, and they don't want to do too much exercise. So when they get to a thing where there's like, hang on a minute, you're asking for my name and I'm not sure why, they'll usually bounce off. It'd be interesting to see what your bounce rate is on your website. Bounce rate is the measure of how many people go to one page on your site and then leave without going anywhere else.
And that should show on the analytics, right?
On the Google Analytics,
Then I
yeah.
have to learn how to,
On the Google Analytics on the front page, you'll see the bounce rate. If your bounce rate is up around 80 or 90%, it means 9 out of 10 people are getting to that page and going, whoa, let's get out of here. So that's bounce rate. But, so a good point is, yeah, go to an opt-in page. Go to something specific where they don't have the option to go and do anything else, except opt-in, give your name and address, or buy something, okay? So you want to take that choice away from them. So, how do you pay for paid advertising? There's a couple of ways to do it. One is cost per click, which is every time somebody clicks on your ad, you're paying a price. Now, if you're in real estate and or dating even is probably even more expensive, the dating industry is very highly competitive. So you'd be probably paying, I'm going to guess now, $8 to $10 a click in some cases. Would that be right in Google AdWords? Or probably Facebook, you're probably looking at $6 to $7 a click.
No, actually about 45 cents.
45 cents? Okay, so you've got a specific, really niche
Yeah.
target. Okay, so if the more niche you can get, the cheaper it becomes. But the way this works is every time somebody clicks on your ad, you're paying a price. So you'll go to Google AdWords or Facebook and you'll set up a campaign and you'll say, here is my target. I'm looking for this demographic with these people and this sort of information. And the more niche you can get, the less likely you've got competition out there. So you want to be paying attention to who are the target market you've got, so you can really ramp down that price. Now, if Leonardo was just going to be generic and said, I want to go for every male and female in the world who wants to date, he's going to be paying a fairly high price to be competitive with everybody else. And he could be paying up to $10, $12 a click, which means that when he shows his ad and somebody clicks on the ad, not doing anything else, just clicks on the ad, $8 comes out of his pocket or $10 comes out of his pocket. 10 clicks a day, it could be $100 a day all of a sudden. And that's not even saying that they've done anything when he gets to his website. He's got to make sure he's got a great converting website. So when people do go to his website, they actually give him his name, or give him the name and address, or they purchase something from him.
So other than the obvious results, how can you make sure that you've got a converting website?
Well, the great question, it really is a science behind it. You've got to make sure that the page that you're taking people to has, what is the main focus? Is it answering the questions that they're there for in the first place? So your ad, your little copy of your ad may be, find dates here, guaranteed to get a date tonight, sort of thing. Let's say that was the case. I'm just going to chuck it up an example, right? So I'm looking for a date and I see his ad. I'm like, that's exactly what I want. I want a date tonight and I'm looking for that target market. I'm going to click on his ad. I go to his page and I'm looking at this page and the page is telling me everything I needed to know, exactly as it is. Yes, I'm looking for a date tonight, I'm in the right area, I'm in the right demographic. This is what I want. It doesn't look like it's cheesy salesman. Is he going to run off with my money? No, he looks like he's honest and I'm happy to do whatever he's needing me to do. Great, click on it. And I become a conversion. So one click, one conversion becomes a 100% conversion. Now usually you're looking at really low, generally it's low conversion. You're going to drive a lot of traffic to pages in order to convert 1 out of 100. Now it depends on your market too. If they're really niched down, it's really specific, then that conversion will be higher. But if it's a generic ad, you'll find that your conversion is lower. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you've got to make sure your page is exactly what it's supposed to be doing according to what the ad was that I clicked on. If those two,
that'll make you more organic though.
it will make you organic, but you've got to be careful because Google don't like opt-in pages. They like you paying ads to drive them, but as far as the organic results go, they want to see more than just a web page, one page. They want to see blogs and all that sort of stuff we've been speaking about before. So you've got to make sure your page is super targeted and the message from the ad to the page is exactly congruent. Make sense? Great. Welcome. Cost per click. So the other type of advertising you do is cost per thousand, which means that you can actually run an ad and say, I only want to pay every time my ad shows. I'm not going to pay for people clicking on my ad because that's expensive. I'd rather pay for every 1,000 impressions that my ad pops up. Now, if Joyce goes to Google and she types in some dating thing and Leonardo's ad pops up and she doesn't even look at it. She's not even interested. She was looking to do some research about dating. She wasn't looking at anything to do with Leonardo's business, but Leonardo's ad popped up because it was relevant to what she was searching for. He still gets charged accordingly, even though Joyce didn't do a thing. All right, so that's cost per 1,000. Now he doesn't get charged every single impression. They add it up to 1,000. Once they've got to 1,000 impressions, they might charge him a couple of cents. But remember, there's a lot of searches going on, and a couple of 1,000 impressions a day is nothing. So he could be paying. It could become expensive, and you just don't know how many impressions are actually, where they're getting served up to and how relevant they are to the search results. I'm not a big fan of cost per 1,000. I'd rather see, if you're going to do paid advertising, do a cost per click campaign so you know exactly how much it's going to cost you. And with all of these, you can set your budget as well. So you can set your budget. If you've only got a budget of $100 a week, you can set a budget of $100 a week. If you've only got a budget of $10 a day, you can set it at $10 a day. What happens when your budget is reached, your ad just disappears. It just goes away. Any questions about that? No. All right, am I confusing anybody yet? No, I'll keep trying. All right, so reasons for paid search. Let's have a look at this. First page exposure in the top 3 search engines. What are the top 3 search engines, Robert?
Google, Yahoo, and Bing.
Very good, I like your style. So, top first page exposure. Now, what does that mean? Obviously, this is not in the organic section. This is in the paid section. So if you want to pay enough, you'll get to the top of Google on page 1 anytime you like, as long as you've got the cash to pay for it. So, but you can get there pretty quick. So if you did want to start up a website and you wanted to get to the top of Google, then you can certainly pay for ads that will get you into the top section pretty quickly. Immediate traffic. Now here's the cool thing is that how long would it take you to set up a Facebook campaign from start to going live?
Well, actually, it took me a week. I did a lot of research on it, and so slowly, just incrementally,
If I said to you now, Leonardo, here's your Facebook account. Can you log in and set up a Facebook ad for your business? Give us one page.
20 minutes.
20 minutes, right? So once you've started, these things can happen really, really quick. Joyce, how long would it take you to set up an AdWords campaign?
Oh, well, I mean,
Now that you know, if you were to set up an ad,
yeah,
if you log into your account now, and I said, let's go and set up an ad for tonight's event, how long would it take you to do?
oh, about a minute.
A minute. There you go, you're super fast. So it can be pretty quick to set up, and then you've got your ad live. It's pretty quick. Now, if you think back to the old days when I wanted to do a newspaper ad for my business, I'd have to think about the copy, then I'd have to send it in, then I'd have to get it all. It took 2 or 3 weeks before it was even ready, and then it would launch on a specific date. And the worst thing is, if that ad was wrong or I wanted to change it, nothing I could do about a real newspaper out in the world, because that ad is running. I can't bring back every newspaper. The great thing about these ads is you can turn them off as quick as you turn them on, which is great. Consistent traffic. Consistent traffic means that you can really, you don't want to have a website that has inconsistent traffic. You want to have a website that's showing a regular source of traffic, regular occurrence of traffic. So if you can have consistent traffic coming to your site, Google look at that as a good thing too. They say, well, this site has got a lot of good traffic. You can certainly do that with ads too. So you may want to just set a budget of a couple of dollars a day so that you've got consistent traffic coming through to your website. Now, of course, you want to make sure you're measuring that traffic and make sure they're doing what you want it to do. Don't just go and spend money for spending money's sake. But you can certainly have consistent traffic if you're using paid advertising. Questions? Any questions? Targeted ads. Now, this is what I really like about this stuff, is that you can target ads so specifically that you really want to start thinking about how you do this. So if Robert's going to target some ads, let's say you did some Facebook ads for your cookies, and you wanted to target fitness addicts that were members of gyms in the Coachella Valley that were male between 25 and 40. It's a pretty specific market, right? And there's probably not thousands of people like that, but you can run an ad specifically to those sort of people on either AdWords or even on Facebook as well. So you can really target your market so that you're not advertising to the generic masses, you're targeting specific people. That's what I like about these ads. You can really super target people and their locations.
Yeah, so then that was very specific. So how does Google know when a 25 to 48-year-old person is?
Yeah, so in that case, it can be Google, there's a couple of things with Google. If you've logged onto Gmail and you've got some details about who you are on Gmail, then they can read that information. If you're not logged in and you don't have a Gmail account, they can't access that information. So it won't happen. But in Google's case, you can certainly geo-target. We'll talk about that in just a second. But you can geo-target people, so you may be looking for people specifically in an area.
Location-wise, that I...
But as far as Facebook goes, Facebook's got the best targeting of any platform out there. The thing is that when we're on Facebook, we all like so many things, and sometimes we forget what we've actually liked. And let's say Michael's on Facebook and he likes, let's say he likes hot rods, for instance. Now, if he likes hot rods, Facebook say, okay, he likes hot rods. Now, if anybody's advertising car stuff, and let's say that it's an oil brand, okay? Now, if he likes hot rods, he's probably into building them and that sort of stuff. If they advertise an oil brand, Facebook look at it and say, well, all the people that like hot rods, a lot of them like this oil brand. If they like this oil brand, then there's a fair chance he's going to like it too. He just hasn't discovered their page. So we're going to still serve up ads to him because what he likes. Not only what he likes, but what other people who like that product also like. So you start seeing ads for oil products, you think, I've never heard of this oil product. No, you haven't, but because you like things that are related to that product, they're going to start dishing ads up to you because you're in that target market. Does that make sense? Any questions about that? Robert? No? All right, testing. I like this picture. Testing. So testing is one of the things that I've got to make sure I really drive home is that you want to test what you're doing. If you're running ads and you're not looking at how they're turning out, how they're working, who's clicking on them, then you're really wasting your time. And this goes to pretty much everything, whether your website, and you can check your Google Analytics for testing, you can look at your Google AdWords campaigns for testing, you can look at your Facebook ads for testing as well. But what you want to start looking at is who's coming to my site, where are they coming from, which words, which images are working the best, how long are they looking at my site, are they bouncing off my site? So in your case, you could easily look at, okay, I've got a lot of clicks coming through to my site, but why aren't they doing anything else? Why aren't they signing up? And just in your analytics, you can quickly see all the traffic coming, but they're all bouncing off that one page. And you can see which page they're bouncing off. And you can quickly say, well, if they're bouncing off that page, there's something wrong with the page. My ad copy is good because I'm driving people are clicking on it. They like it. They like the image that I've got with it. Now, they're doing nothing at my page. There's a breakdown at that point. So with analytics, you can break down where is that point. Sometimes you may have an ad that works really well, drive them to a page, they go to click, let's say you're selling an item, and they go to click on the buy button. So they've gone through and the conversion of your sales page is really good. They get to the checkout page and all of a sudden they're all leaving. Why are they leaving? What's wrong with my checkout page? Is it housed somewhere else? Does it look like it doesn't relate to what they've just come from? So there's all these questions about what is working, where in the whole process from finding the prospect to making them a client is it breaking down? And analytics and testing can help you find this particular breakdown. Because you may think, if you don't look at analytics, you may think, oh, my ad sucks, I'm going to go rewrite it again. But it's not what's broken. You might go and say, oh, my sales page is terrible, it must have a really bad video. I'll go and do it again. And you pay money or spend time doing it. When in actual fact, there's nothing wrong with any of those. It's the page that's the checkout page can be a problem. So people look at that and say, well, if I've tested this, now I know exactly where the problem is, now I know what to go and fix. It's almost like saying, I'm going to take my car to the mechanic and say, here you go, my car's not working. He's like, okay, I'll fix it. But you don't tell him what's wrong with it until he goes and puts new tyres on it and drive away. And you're still driving, you think, there's that noise again. You go back and say, hey, my car's still broken. Okay, I'll put new seat covers on. You've got to know exactly what it is before you can fix it. And I think testing is really, really important. And it doesn't matter whether it's paid advertising or just your website in general. You should be looking at your analytics. Yes?
I have a question that kind of relates to this. What is the amount of money to spend, like the initial chunk on, of maybe Facebook and Google, mixed to where you can start seeing
results?
like if it's working, if it's not. Like, what do you recommend for that first?
As much as it takes. I know it's a crappy answer, but it really is serious. Like, here's the thing. Let's say, it's going to depend on a number of things. Firstly, let's say we're selling something, all right? And I'm going to sell an item for $100. Now, if I was to spend $90 to get one person to buy a $100 item, is that a good result? You're still making $10 every time, right? So I mean, if that's all I had, I'd still make 10. I'd do it all day, every day if I was going to make more money than I spent. Okay, it's not a lot, but I would still make. But if it was the other way around, if I had to spend $110 to get a sale of a $100 item, how long is that going to last? You're going to run out of money, right? Every so often. So you've got to look at what is it costing me to get that acquisition of that client? How many people do I need to get? How much money do I need to spend in order for me to get one sale?
So you kind of start actually assuming right from the beginning.
From the very beginning. So I would look at it and say, okay, let's break it down on an individual item per basis, and let's just work a $100 item just because it's easier for me to calculate. So a $100 item, and we're looking at let's say it's $1 per click, just to make it the calculations easy. So how many people need to click on my ad before I've wasted my budget, or before I've broken even, basically? 100 people need to click on my ad. So that I would spend $100, but one of those people, just one person needs to buy that out of the 100 people that click on my ad. So basically I have a 1% conversion rate. That makes sense?
I suppose you want to factor in your time too, I would imagine.
You can factor in the time, but just to say the time's not a factor right now, because once you've set this up, you can duplicate it. So let's just say we're not factoring time, we're just looking at strictly cost of the ad versus the ROI. So I've got a $100 product and I need to break even on that. I need one person to buy it. How many people can click on my ad with one person buying it before I break even? It's 100 people. So you look at it and say, well, if I'm not getting 100 people to my ad and one person's buying it, then I'm in trouble. But if I had 2 people buy my product in those 100, all of a sudden I'm doubling my money. Spend 100 and I'm making 200. Does that make sense? So it's going to be one of those things you want to really look at. Where is my cost? How much is it going to cost me? And then work it from there. So if you had a $100 product and you were getting 2 people every $100, 2 people every $100 you spent to buy a product, how many of those would you do?
Forever.
You keep doing as much as you could, right? You wouldn't stop because it makes sense to do it. So that goes back to my answer, is as long as whatever it takes. So just have a look at, don't go and say, oh, I'm going to spend $5,000 and chuck $5,000 behind it. And then at the end of $5,000, look at the results and go, oh, whoops, that didn't work. You want to measure it as you go. And the thing with ads is that these ads can change on a regular basis. In fact, you want to change your ad probably every 2 or 3 days. Because people get ad blindness. Anyone ever heard of ad blindness? They see an ad but they don't see an ad, it's just there. You want to change it up so people are looking at different things every time. So work it around. You don't have to delete it altogether. You can just run it again maybe next week as well. Does that answer that question?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. All right, reach. So the power of AdWords or Google has a lot of reach. Has anybody ever read New York Times, LA Times, or websites, and you've seen ads of other products on these sites, right? So this is an ad for CaliforniaAvocado.com. Now, is California Avocado, would that be related to the topic of this website?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so this is an ad that's run by Google. So basically California Avocado said, okay, we've got this image, we want you to run an ad on your ad network, your display network. And what we want you to do is a lot of these sites like allrecipes.com and New York Times, they'll have spaces on their ad that is blank. And it's available for Google to put ads on. Now, when they build this website, they don't put this ad in themselves, they leave it blank. And they say to Google, we have space for you. You can put whatever ad you want to put in here. So Google decides which ads go where. Now, if California Avocados wasn't around and Robert's Cookies come along and said, I'm willing to pay X amount of dollars every time somebody looks at this site, I want Robert's cookies or Gorilla cookies to pop up on this page, then all of a sudden Robert's picture is going to go here, his image, and when somebody clicks here for more recipes, it's going to take them to where, do you think? All recipes or California avocados?
Avocados.
Avocados, right? So if Robert had his page here, he could click on, whoever clicks on it will take him to gorillacookies.com or whatever his website is. So that's display networks.
Okay, so, right, and Google calls those displays.
This is
yeah, and
display
they're much
AdWords.
cheaper than a search.
It can be cheaper. It can be cheaper.
But what about, I mean, they never asked me for a photo, so they're, what.
There's text. There's text ones, so you can get little text ones that pop up along the top here. There's all sorts of banners. There's skyscraping banners. There's square banners. There's all sorts of different banners you can have. There's a whole range of them actually.
Oh, so I mean, if I found some fabulous image.
Go and get an image. I would get it. For this, I would get a graphic designer. Go to Elance or someone to do a graphic design, a proper image.
Right.
Find out what size you want it to be.
Right.
I want a specific size because Google AdWords will tell you what sizes you need.
Okay.
Get a good image and then stick it on medical journals or whatever else that people read,
Right.
Merck or whatever it is, and find out if in fact those sites have ads. Just go to their site, you flick around, you'll see ads popping up all over the place. So that's what display ads is. It's getting people's attention in the right sort of market. Now, would it be beneficial if, let's say, Michael has his ad there and talks about counselling or hypnosis? Would that be relevant to the page itself?
No.
Now, do you think if Michael paid money to Google and they put his ad there, do you think he'd be happy about that?
No.
You waste the time, right? So Google know what's related to your ads in your market. So you put down specific keywords and then you can choose which one. And you might say, you know what, I want to put my ad on every site except this one. And you can say, I don't want it to appear on a specific site because it could be a competitor site or it could be someone you don't want to do business with or those types of people that are going to that site. Leonardo.
I'd like to share a tip that saves me a ton of money.
Please.
There's a website called canva.com, C-A-N-V-A, and you can create, one of the most difficult challenges I had in trying to create graphics was to get the pixel size exactly right. You can create a custom pixel size, and it has all kinds of graphics there for free. You could upload your own graphics, or you could pay $1 a piece for the ones that they have. But it's an excellent website, and you can create your really quality graphics with it. Text and overlay and everything on it.
Yeah,
And they're specifically, they're not for print, they're only HTML.
you can do print. No, you can do print.
You can print them.
Yep.
You can. It's free.
Yeah, you can create Facebook ads. You can create Facebook covers. You can
The
upload
banners.
infographics.
The banners for Google page and really quality looking,
Yeah.
high resolution.
It's my new favorite site, Canva.com. Check it out. It's free account. And as Leonardo said, you can upload your own photos, or they have more than a million photos in their own library. Let's say you wanted a photo of a doctor standing there and you didn't want to go and pay $10 from iStock Photo. You can pay, you'll find a doctor, you can use it, it'll cost you $1.
Oh.
So they charge, all their photos are $1, which is pretty awesome. Great tip. Okay, let's have a look. Relevance. So relevance, the good thing about a lot of these ads too is the relevance that you can create. So and we saw this earlier when we looked for the megapixel camera, we're looking for ads that are relevant, and this is why marketing and advertising is so good, is because it delivers relevant ads to the target market that are looking for information. So, if you're running an ad on Google AdWords and somebody's typing in, is it houses in the valley here? Yeah, so homes in the valley or something like that, your ad will likely appear because that's what they're searching for. If I was typing in, dog kennels, we don't want your ad to appear because it's not relevant to what would be a waste of time. So paid advertising, Google especially, gives you relevant marketing, relevant ads to what people are looking for. Geo-targeting and ad scheduling. Geo-targeting can, as we said about this earlier, geo can really locate or target the people you're looking for in specific areas. So in your case, you just want to run ads to the valley rather than anywhere else out here. So you can run specific ads to only people whose location is known to Google that are searching in the valley. So you can do that. And you can also schedule ads too. You can run scheduled ads. You may want to schedule different ads for different times of the day. So let's say that, Michael, you have an online chat feature on your website. Let's say you have an online chat feature. Now you don't want to be, and it's only just you. You're answering the chat. So while you're working, you've got the chat feature going. You may want to make sure that if you're running ads about hey, come and talk to me live, one-on-one, you don't want ads running at midnight because you're not there. So you can actually schedule the ads to say, I only want the ads to appear between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. on these days because after 2 o'clock I'm out of there. So you run the ads just between that particular time period. So you can actually schedule times for your ads to appear, which is pretty handy if you don't want them to appear all around the clock as well. Sometimes if you've got just a page where you're just wanting to sign people up, it doesn't matter what time they get there as long as they sign up. But if you've got a specific thing where you don't want people to be interrupting you, then that is a good way to do it, is schedule your ads. Tracking, I think I'll speak a little bit about tracking and testing. Tracking in Google Analytics is also, I'm not going to go there too much more, but as I said, tracking is very important. Branding, now this is also good. You can also build a brand up just by running ads too. As you said, I think you're getting likes for your thing. Now that's getting people awareness out there, getting the brand name out there. One of the funny things I saw was a guy wanted to get his brand out in front of people on Facebook, and he made the worst ad he could possibly make. He had his big brand as a photo and image, it stood out, and he had this headline and this copy that really didn't make any sense. Like, it didn't ask you to click here, it didn't say we're going to give you anything, it was just stuff. But he was paying cost per click, and no one was clicking on it, so it didn't cost him any money. So he was running these ads everywhere, it's all over the place, and everywhere you went was this guy's ad. And all you saw was his brand, and you saw this guy's name and his brand everywhere, and no one's clicking on the ads, so you could afford to keep running it because no one clicked on it, so he didn't have to pay. So he wasn't paying cost per thousand, because otherwise that would have cost him a fortune, but he was paying for a cost per click, knowing that no one would click on it because it didn't make sense to click on it. But everywhere you went was this guy's name, so you start to get understand.
So how did they combat that, or you can still do it?
What can they do? I mean, you can still do it.
Pretty good strategy.
That's an interesting strategy too. So sometimes I wonder, I look at ads and I see, I'm thinking, are they paying, what are they asking me to do? And I look at it, really break it down and think, is this one of those strategies? So test it, have a look. If it doesn't work, to quickly turn it off.
What's your opinion on paying something like Fiverr.com to give you 1,000 likes or whatever?
Don't do it. Don't do it. Here's why. I can tell you what. For Facebook specifically, you will get likes from countries that are not relevant to you. Okay, so I know we've had a couple of clients that went and did this at one stage. So they had people liking from Vietnam, Philippines, Brazil. Like, there were names, they were likes. Okay, so for social proof, if I went to their page, it's got a couple of thousand likes. Okay, wow, these guys are really busy. But what the problem is that none of these people will engage with that page. So Facebook look at the engagement of your page and they say, okay, here's a page, they're putting these posts up, they've got 3,000 people who like their page, but nobody is talking about this page. Nobody's commenting, nobody's liking, nobody's sharing. Now what's going on here? We've got a question. Either your content is crap, no one likes it, or the people that like your page really didn't like your page, they just did it for something to do. And they look at that metric and say, you know what, if that's the case, if nobody's engaging with your page and the percentage of people that you've got and the percentage of people that are talking about this is so far different, then we're going to say that your content is crap and we're not going to dish it up anywhere else. So there's two ways to look at it. You can look at
a negative search engine.
I think it is big time because Facebook know about it. And then your results, you go into your analytics, your insights for Facebook, and you're going to see some big discrepancies. You're going to see most people like this page from, and you're going to list the countries that you're not even relevant in. Like you're going to say, Vietnam has the most people liking this page, and then the Philippines and Malaysia. Now I'm not going to go to those countries, but if your target market's not there, then why go there?
How do they get them to click on it? How do they get those names?
They pay them. They pay them. There's little robots out there that do that sort of stuff. Remember, $5 over here is nothing, but $5 in some of those countries is a lot of money. And sometimes they'll just create a whole bunch of different Facebook accounts, and they have these little machines that just go, like it. You go and click on those people, you go and find out who likes your page and click on those people, and you'll probably find they've got a pretty empty profile. They really aren't people at all. You've paid $5, yes, you got some likes, and it's social proof at best, but worse, it's going to really ruin your statistics, your insights, and your engagement factor on Facebook. So, don't do it. I would much rather you pay for ads for people to see who like it and target the right people rather than paying $5 on Fiverr. That's just my opinion, and I think you'll find that's the opinion of most people that don't want to go down that path of paying for that sort of stuff. It used to be like 2 years ago, it was working, but Facebook got smarter about it and said, okay, we'll penalise you, here it is, this is how easy it is. And they can just flick a switch to do that.
Have you found that using the ad system on Facebook increases Facebook likes faster for a page than, say, like the same amount on Google?
Yeah.
Probably a little is like obvious,
Facebook, yeah, you'll increase your engagement, and your likes pretty quickly on Facebook with Facebook ads. Even if the ad is not to get Facebook likes, it's to do something else. You'll still see people who like that because it's now in the streams of other people. When I run my Facebook ads, I'll usually make sure that I'm not running it to the same people that already like my page, because my idea is I want to get new people into what I'm doing. I want also new people to like my page too. So yeah, that's how I look at it. All right, let's see. I think so we're nearly done here. I'm going to wrap up. Other forms of paid advertising, obviously on Facebook we've spoken about. Video ads. How many people have seen a video ad? How many people have seen ads inside YouTube? When you go watch a YouTube video, there's a little ad down the bottom. So there's display ads you can watch on YouTube. Video ads are just coming on board big time in Facebook. In fact, they're doing a lot of studies about video ads right now on Facebook. And a lot of these ads will self-play. So as you're scrolling through your timeline, suddenly this video starts playing, and then as you scroll more, it disappears or it stops playing. But video ads have just come on board in Facebook, so watch out for that in your news feed. How exciting will that be for you? Display ads, we spoke about display ads. And then Google AdSense. Google AdSense is basically similar to Google AdWords, but it's the ability to put ads on your site. So you can have space on your own site if you want Google to run ads on your site. The only thing is you don't know who's going to run ads on your site. So you can have space for Google AdSense, and you say to Google, I'm ready for you to put ads on my site. And then Mr. Smart Marketer up the road, Mr. NLP practitioner up the road, says, I want to run ads on his site. All of a sudden you're marketing your competitors on your site. So that's a danger of having AdSense, and really the money you make out of that is pretty minimal. If you haven't got a lot of traffic specifically in your site, I wouldn't waste your time. All right, any questions about any of that? We're going to wrap up here pretty quickly.
One of the great things I found out about internet marketing is that your competitors can really be your allies. You can become affiliates and share each other's lists.
Yep.
And so you can look at it from that angle too.
It really can. Affiliate marketing is big. It's huge, and affiliates don't have to be people you don't know. It can be people that you are, as you said, competitors, and say, you know what, I'm going to run a campaign this month. You know, talk and say, are you running a campaign this month? You might say, no. Okay, I'm going to do it, and here's my link. You send people to my site, and you'll get some money for it too. And often you'll get 80-90% of the upfront revenue too as an affiliate. So it can be a great way to do it as well. Any other questions? Let me see if that's it. Oh, that's it. There we go. So thank you very much. It's right on 8:30. Thank you very much. I hope you got some good stuff out of it.
One other question. What editing software did you use? Did you create that video, the opening video?
Oh, no. That was that video at the front. That was somebody else, wasn't it?
Or somebody else, yeah. But we can do that. We use, it's called Video Maker FX.
Video Maker, yeah. So there's some software out there. Jeff and Amy got some great software that does that sort of stuff, and you do all that sort of thing.
I have Camtasia, but that looked pretty advanced. That was pretty good.
Yeah, Camtasia is good for, you can't do so much of the animations on Camtasia like that video can. I think Video Maker FX can do that sort of stuff pretty easily. It's a great way to get the message out, especially if you're trying to show statistics and stuff like that. Okay.
Do you guys like this?
Yes.
Give it back. Good. Answer your questions about paid advertising?
Yes.
Or create more.
What's that?
Create more questions.
Create more questions. Very good. So next week, what's our topic next week, Andrew?
Yes.
Just pulling that up now.
No, I can't remember.
For those of you who were here a couple weeks ago, we talked about doing Google Hangouts. How many of you have ever done a Google Hangout? boy, there's some powerful reasons you should be doing Google Hangouts. First of all, it's almost like it's creating wherever you're at, it turns it into a TV station. And you become, quite frankly, the internet with that type of ability, it's like the Wild Wild West. There's almost nothing you can't do. I mean, Amy, would you bring that little, the Logitech C920 out for a second?
I think no time in the history of the world has there been so many opportunities for people that you can start your own TV show, you can start your own radio show, you can start your own magazine. And it doesn't cost you anything. It's amazing the opportunities out there. You just gotta know how to do it.
Yeah, as Andrew said at the very beginning, if you're starting out and you're saying, well, I'm just selling widgets, I think you should be thinking, I better be all in from a media standpoint. Because if you're not, and Andrew is, and you're in that same genre, he'll bury you. And I don't mean that in a negative sense, it's just reality. Because what happens is when you're looking for something, you're looking online. Statistics show that. And if I can't find you online, you're not going to be found. It's like you didn't even exist, right? It's almost like if you said, hey, there's a new restaurant open up in Palm Springs. How many of you live in Palm Desert and La Quinta, the East Valley? None of you? Nobody? Okay. When something opens up in Palm Springs, are you totally aware of it?
No.
Yeah, or you have to be told about it. Well, that's the same thing. Just because you open up and you have a website, nobody knows you. They don't know the name of your website. So if you have a website named, what's the name of your website?
It's down at the moment.
It's down
That's
at
a weird name. It's
I know.
although it's very catchy. I think I changed it to "Are you down at the moment?"
Yeah,
Really helped you
very
out.
good, very good. Thank you.
But here's the thing: a lot of people misunderstand that. Just real quickly, is I think they look at it and say, "How come people want to come to a website? I have a great catchy name." We're not looking for your website, and I've said this before. If I cut my finger, I'm not looking for your cure ad, am I, or a brand name? What am I looking for?
Band-Aid. A Band-Aid.
A Band-Aid. I don't care who makes it. I'm looking for a Band-Aid. I'm looking for something to solve the bleeding. So if you have a real catchy name, I don't think it's as important, and you share, Andrew, as it is. It says, I'm out there attracting and solving problems for my ideal customer. Where are they bleeding? What are you as far as a Band-Aid is concerned? And if you're selling a widget, service, whatever you're doing, you are a Band-Aid. Start acting like that and start saying, hey, use all of this stuff to get out there. Here's a camera, high definition. This is, I hate to say it, but that camera back there is about $3,500. This camera, less than $100. This one produces, when you get on the internet, almost as good a quality as that one. I cried at night.
Look at your cell phone.
This one-
Cell phone's exactly right.
But this is one of those things that, you know what? You can take this anywhere. You can say, oh, I got an idea. And you have a hotspot, you have a little Wi-Fi hotspot. You pull off in a park and you say, I'm going to shoot a video. Bang, you're online right then. And you share it with your people on Google Plus and things like that. We shot a video, we did a program, 2 weeks ago? At Copper Mountain College up in Yucca, and we videotaped the program. If you're interested in how do you do a Google Hangout, let us know and we'll give that to you.
You haven't sent it yet.
We just got it finished. It was a little bit longer than we expected. So it's about a 40-minute in-depth, step-by-step. If you've never done it, hey, here's the equipment, here's how you turn it on. If you've never even turned on Google and Google Plus, so let us know. Amy's going to come out of the back, and if you just give her your email address, say, hey, I want that, Michael will send that to you. Okay, or anybody.
Don't you need that plugged into a laptop or something, or is that a
Just plug
USB?
it-
USB.
Yeah, it's a USB. So if you plug it into your laptop, absolutely. So if you plugged into your laptop and you had a hotspot, a Wi-Fi hotspot, you can broadcast from anywhere. You're just as mobile. In fact, probably even more mobile than CBS, NBC, the local channels, because they got to get that big van out there and they got to shoot that thing in this.
You can run that into your Camtasia directly too.
Yeah.
Film that.
How cool is that? So anyway,
so
that's a whole topic.
Leonardo's point about magazines and the creation out there content. If you want to be the expert in your field or the leader in your industry, you really need to have more than that website. You want to have your podcast. You said you're looking at podcasts and stuff like that. Podcasts are growing rapidly. Magazines on newsstand are becoming available for people to create on any topic you want. And the thing is that there's not a lot of people doing it right now. Magazines, radio shows, radio programs on online radio. There is so much opportunity for us to create stuff that is going to showcase you as the expert out there. It's not that hard, it's just a matter of knowing what to do. And that's what we want to do, is show you how to do that sort of stuff throughout these courses. And our business has taken a new direction in doing exactly that right now. We were concentrating on building websites for people, but now we realize that it's not just websites anymore. It's more about how do you become the brand and the authority in your industry. So that's what we do.
Before you leave, one last thing. We have a program coming up, and it's for in-depth video. So if you're really serious about doing video and start using it, or saying, hey, I'm using video, but let's take it up a notch. It's called Lights, Camera, Action. It starts on July 12th, and it is a 2-day. It's on Saturday, the 12th, and then the 19th. It's 4 hours each day, and we're taking it very deep, and it's a workshop. There's only room for 8 people, because when you come in, we're literally saying, hey, I've never done this before, and when you're done, you'll know how, and you're actually created content. It's a great opportunity to say, even if you're saying, you know what, I'm going to send somebody from my office in so they can be my camera person, we'll teach them from the ground up, and we'll talk about things like this, saying, hey, you don't have to go out and buy a $3,500 camera. You can use this, you can use your cell phone, you can use your iPad, create some incredible videos, and then use those to market and get your voice out there. That's on July 12th and 19th, and the cost of that is $295. Because we're actually, we're going to be very in-depth. We're going to show you from, hey, capture, editing. We'll show you some editing software you can get. If you're not using Camtasia, we'll use that. We'll show you how to render it and get it online, and then how to market it. So basically taking it from, I've never shot a video, to now it's up there and I'm getting views, and I'm sending it to my or getting traffic from it. Okay. That's it.
That's it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.